New reports surfaced that one of the biggest armadas, the biggest ships, the biggest destroyers, the biggest holdings of America and our U.S. Navy has went dark. Wait till you hear this story and see where they're close to, because it does have ramifications that could be world changing for sure. So we're going to discuss what is happening on the USS Abraham Lincoln and also the armada that is with, and what could Trump be doing when it comes to the ship. We're going to discuss that. Also, we're going to talk about Department of Homeland Security. It's amazing to me that we saw the Department of Homeland Security just bust someone in a major city trying to put a policeman and trying to train a policeman who was not even a legal citizen. Actually, they said had ties to some foreign adversaries. And we were just going to have it right in a major city. Also, we're going to talk about DHS, how we worry about the safety, we worry about our cybersecurity. Isn't it amazing how we put these people over our leadership, and we put the government in such power that they can do and look at anything about us, surveil us all the time, and all of a sudden we realize the leader of one of the biggest intelligent parts of the Department of Homeland Security has been leaking some stuff to ChatGPT and AI. That's always safe. And again, you can't even pronounce his name. It's amazing what's happening when we put these government officials in charge, and then we wonder why we are so vulnerable. We're going to discuss that story because it's unbelievable. Also, we're going to hear from Zoran Mamdani. Dude is saying he's going to give everything free. Oh wait, by the way, New York is in a massive recession crisis. He just came out and stated, well, we can't do anything free because I got here and actually realized that socialism doesn't work. We're going to hear from Zoran Mamdani and how this way of government giving you everything will not end well. I mean, have you seen what gold is doing? Gold had a huge swing, and then yet our Fed says, well, gold and silver doesn't mean anything anymore. It doesn't mean anything. Our dollar's low and collapse is inevitable, but hey, we're not worried about gold and silver. They better start looking at it. Man, there's so many stories here. We're going to go through all of them. We're going to discuss it. We're also going to listen to what a billionaire stated and how he was brainwashed to believe that Democrats had it all right until he started actually listening to the real news and not the propaganda of media. Let's go over all these stories today. This video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, that's okay, but let us know what you think about the content of today's video. Now let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's go to this story from New York. Zoran Mamdani. This is just unbelievable. I mean, this should be lights on for everybody. Everybody should understand what's going on here. Breaking, Zoran Mamdani says New York City is facing a fiscal crisis on the scale of a great recession. I mean, of course, epic surprise that if we keep spending money we don't have, then it shows that we probably can't pay for all the things we want to pay for, correct? See, this is how bad policies of government intervention is. Obamacare is a prime example. We want to say it helps a lot of people. We want to say it gives a lot of health care to a lot of people. But what we don't want to realize is it's not affordable and we can't pay for it. We don't have the money. I mean, prime example, I thought Chamath Palihapitiya said perfectly. He said, as a billionaire from California, he said, it's amazing that the government wants to take more money from us and they can't seem to do anything good with the money we already gave them. And so it brings the fact of what's happening in New York. Now, if you remember, Zoran Mamdani was promising free rent, no private land, promising wealth taxes, promising all these things that he was going to charge and give all this free food, all this free groceries, all this stuff was going to be free. And now he's coming out saying we're in an existential crisis. New York City is probably going to face a great recession. Shows that the Democratic way for these cities is not working. It's not working. We can't continue to give money to people and expect for better outcomes. I love the fact of what Trump is doing with this Trump account. I think every person should have, not really what you call a Trump account. I don't believe government should be over any of it, to be honest with you, but I believe everyone should be contributing to an account for their child. Forget Social Security. Let the kids start a $1,000 account. Let the parents contribute 50, $100, something like that a month, and let it be a mandatory instead of Social Security, that we have something like that flowing out of our account that goes directly to the benefit of our families, not to the benefit of the government to use in a socialized program, because we see that everything that we've invested in as Americans into the government has actually not benefited us whatsoever. Remember yesterday's video, me telling you about FDA and USDA, and it's amazing how none of that stuff is actually working well, and how all of a sudden Social Security is not working well, we're broke. All of a sudden Medicare is not working, so now Democrats are pushing for Medicare for all, kind of like what Zohran Mamdani's pushing for, and then we realize Zohran Mamdani wakes up and says, holy crap, we actually can't do this because we have no money. We're going to face a recession here in New York City. See, government is not the answer. I don't believe if we ever could go back to our forefathers and talk to them, it's amazing we have AI and we want to make the forefathers dance, but actually instead of listening to what they probably said, most of them said the government's place was to be an emergency power, to be able to say, okay, if all else fails, the government will hold you and make sure you're okay. We'll make sure you're safe. We'll make sure that you don't fall. It's a backstop. Well, what we've done is we've turned that to where the government is the answer for everything. And sadly, we've realized it can't be because we can't afford it to be. And that government really doesn't know what they're doing. Prime example, let's look at this. And I mean, Zohran Mamdani, we're going to leave that story for a second, but what we realized is all the things he promised he can't fulfill because we have no money. And on top of that, government's answer has never worked. Let's look at these two DHS stories. Prime example. This is from Disclosed TV, and it was actually shared by Savannah Hernandez. It says, head of the U.S. Cyber Defense Agency, CISA, C-I-S-A. This is an intelligence agency that's tied basically to Homeland Security and also for, honestly, the safety and intelligence of Americans. His name is Madhu Gatumukala. I can't even say his name. It's Gautam Makala. Madhu Gautam Kamala. I can't even say it. It's too many syllables. Bottom line, it's not an American name. Uploaded sensitive contracting documents into a public version of ChatGPT, triggering a DHS security review to where the intelligence, the guy over the U.S. Cyber Division just released sensitive documents on an AI platform. Now, it could only be two things. Either the guy did it on purpose, so that means he just committed treason and our data is never safe because these people we elect, instead of it being a normal person from America, it's some guy we can't even pronounce his name, or he's ignorant and gave our information to a chat bot. And I don't know if that makes me feel any better, that either we have someone who is ignorant and foolish and did it, and then we lose our data, or we have someone who is literally working against us in the American government. Both those scenarios don't benefit us at all. So when we think about having more government intervention in our life, more technology released on us, more AI interpretation of who we are, if you remember, a lot of this AI is getting our data, getting our data points and actually putting us in an algorithm. And this guy just accidentally or on purpose releases sensitive data onto an AI chatbot and is now made Department of Homeland Security start a whole security review of the whole process. Basically what they said is we're in like code red. Some of the most sensitive data may be released online that could help our enemies know more about us. Another story, listen to this one from New Orleans. Now New Orleans is only a few hours from me. Again, scares me to death that we have this kind of stuff going on. New Orleans Police Department just got busted hiring illegal aliens to be part of the police, a recruit. Department of Homeland Security heard about this. ICE went in and actually arrested the guy who was trying to become a recruit for the police department. Now, let's go back to this. Why would we think that a government that is supposed to support its people is paying and giving money to someone who is not even here legally, and then we're going to give them a badge to enforce a law that they have broken? But see, this is what government does. They're not good at their job. They're not good at leading us. They're not good at taking our money and then using it wisely. So it goes back to the fact of when the government says they're going to promise all this stuff and give it to you, I've not yet seen what the government has touched and actually has made sense and actually benefited us. You know, I wanted to try it just to say, is when, you know, our phone's listening to us, the information that we put on there, how dangerous is it for us? Are we actually compromised? So I said, you know what, I'm gonna go to Google and I'm just gonna Google one of my sister's names. So I typed in her name. All of a sudden I started realizing my oldest sister's old address from 4 years ago was on there. Our home phone number was listed on there from when I was a kid. Not only that, it gave emails, it gave all this information. So I called her and I said, do you realize I can get all this information, probably take out a few credit cards, open new accounts? It blew her mind. I want you to try this too. I want you to go and just Google one of your family members' names. Not to be a creeper or anything, but I want you to just test my theory. Go out there and just Google. It will blow your mind at what you can find out about your family members. The sad thing about when you search, a lot of this information, a lot of these websites, a lot of the places that you go are ran by data brokers. They're getting your information, and guess what? They're sharing it with people who are not the most reputable, maybe even on the dark web. From scammers to spammers, none of these people are actually looking out for your well-being and your information. Now, here's the thing. You know, they're not legally able to have your information if you tell them to take your information off. But I'll be honest with you. If you start looking online, you realize how many people have your information. It's almost impossible for you to go to all these companies and say, please, take my information off your sites. See, that's the benefit of my sponsor today, Aura. Aura comes alongside you. They work to do just that, to take your information away from being vulnerable, away from being compromised, from the people that want to scam you and spam you all the time. Aura identifies all the data brokers that are getting your information, and they give an opt-out clause, meaning they cannot legally have your information anymore. It's kind of like having a house and having doors and having locks and never locking the door. Aura allows you to lock the door. Give Aura just a few weeks. I promise you what you're going to see is your information is going to start being yours again. You're going to realize the spammers and scammers are going to stop. Aura also continuously monitors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they're going to make sure they let you know if it is. Also, they have a world-class VPN to keep you safe as you search the internet. Do not miss out on this opportunity to utilize Aura to benefit you and your family's safety online. Remember, let's lock the door. You can go to my link below, aura.com/themacs. It's in the description. When you click on that, you're getting a 14-day free trial. In that 14 days, you're going to realize all the benefits of what they're doing. They're going to opt your information out from being vulnerable and compromised. Check out Aura today, aura.com/themacs. Do not miss out on this opportunity to have this free trial along with your safety. There's just a few stories right there. So, Great Recession warning from Zoram Mamdani. To be honest with, their whole nation is like this. I love that Trump is coming out and doing great things. I love the fact that our GDP is growing like 5.5% the last quarter. That's amazing. But there's a new report that showed that gold is now at $5,600. I mean, it had like a $100 swing today. $100 an ounce swing today. Unbelievable. It took 56, they said, it said in the time of history, it's taken, what, 5,000 years for gold to actually get to this price of $4,000, $5,000. It's taken just 28 days to go up a whole another $1,000. We're seeing record numbers in things like gold and silver. We're seeing absolute crazy swings when it comes to this system. What this proves is the government has wasted a lot of our money, and the government's not actually watching over its people. And what we may be doing is what Zoram Mamdani said. We may just be bankrupting our country and seeing the greatest recession, not just New York has seen, but America. Now, let's go to the story with the USS Abraham Lincoln. This is a big deal, big deal. And if you watch some of the videos coming out of Iran, do I want them to have peace and fix their situation with their leadership? Absolutely. I would wish that for any country that has a dictator. But again, it's not our job. Now, I'm not saying we can't be a backstop, but again, we can't even get our crap together, so I just don't think we need to have our ship over there. But I want you to listen to this story. Breaking, the USS Abraham Lincoln has gone completely dark. The carrier disabled its transponders after transitioning to the Strait of Malacca and is now operating under what they call MCON, full emissions control with no communication in or out. They're going completely dark. So no one knows actually where they are now. They just knew the area, which is close to Iran. It's a standard procedure when entering a high-threat environment, when there's a high alert, not just on the seas, but with our military. What happens next is anyone's guess. Now, if you remember that hemispheric meeting that were happening February 11th, if you remember all the stuff that's going on and how everybody says that, Trump is going to intervene in a lot of situations on the world to change the basics of access to powers and things like that, this may be another play there. I mean, when our military goes completely dark and it literally puts our ships in very high alerted areas, is something to pay attention to. Now, what happens? Just hear me out. What happens if that ship gets hit hard? What happens if that ship gets nailed? What happens if that ship has firing upon it? What happens? I mean, you have a bunch of our Congress and Senate from Republicans and Democrats that are so crazy they'll be all in for it to go into another war. But what happens? See, here's my thought. I don't want to put ourselves in a predicament that we could be in a situation like that. Wouldn't it be so great if we, as Republicans, Democrats, as America, just said we're not going to get in anybody else's battles anymore? We'll sell them stuff. I mean, hey, if they want to buy stuff to cause problems and all that, great. Buy stuff. But we're not going to give you our money anymore. We're not going to put ourselves in precarious situations. We're going to not isolate, but we're going to strengthen what we need to do first in our own home in America. Wouldn't that be awesome? We think that we've got to go in and save the world. And we need to quit worrying about trying to be Superman, and we just need to worry about trying to protect what we've got. I mean, really, we've got so many problems here. The last thing I think we need is actually to be closer to Iran or Ukraine or anywhere over there, or dealing with China. I just honestly don't understand it. Again, I'm all for this Venezuela play and Greenland play because I think that does help us here, keep us safe with our hemisphere. But I don't understand the movement across overseas. Now, maybe nothing to it, but it is kind of weird that they have a ship over there, the biggest armada that we actually have, or one of the biggest armadas that we actually have in the United States Navy, and it's sitting in a place where it went dark in a high alert scenario. What's going on? I'll let you listen to two more stories, and then we're going to kind of wrap up this video. But this actually came out as we're talking about the Middle East and some of the issues there, and how I believe we just need to stay away from it. It's amazing to me that people like Tucker Carlson, who is supposedly a conservative, he talks about being America first and focusing on America, but guess where he's at? He's literally sitting in Saudi Arabia right now doing a talk. And I want you to listen to what he said, because this is probably these are the kind of things that scare me more than politicians, is the people that have way too much influence, and we tend to give them credit, but then they actually speak out of both sides of their mouth. I want you to listen to this. Now, this man tells you that the president and America should be America first, but he's literally sitting in Riyadh right now. I want you to listen to this. Tucker Carlson speaking in Riyadh. I'm, forever what it's worth, a fervent Christian and feel completely comfortable here in the seat of Islam. And just saying that threat somehow makes me look like a propaganda or a liar. I'm actually safe. As a Christian, I'm safe here. Now, he's saying that because he's a superstar when it comes to the Middle East, but also he's so world-renowned, no one's going to do anything to him. He can practice his faith whatever he wants. But for the people of those countries, they're not safe at all. I want you to listen to what was just said. This was actually almost like a fact check of Tucker Carlson. It says, Christianity is prohibited in public life in Saudi Arabia. Churches are forbidden, and Open Doors ranked the country's 13th on the list of the world's most dangerous place for Christians to live. You know, this is the only part, and this is where you have to be very careful, and I don't want you to think that I'm speaking on both sides of my mouth. Do I want freedom for everyone in the world? That would be amazing. Do I wish that everybody would not be persecuted against? Yes, I believe they should be persecuted against. If we're fighting and picking battles, I think the safety of making sure people are not harmed is a great thing to fight over. However, if we have our leaders and or our influencers telling us how safe everything is, it's amazing how we get lied to all the time from the mainstream media. But are we also getting lied to by the people that supposedly supporting us? The people that supposedly are not part of the system? The people that are supposedly on the conservative side? What's different from CNN or MSNBC or Fox News telling us one thing, and then Tucker Carlson telling us the exact same thing here, just in a different light? Now, I don't want Christians in Saudi Arabia harmed. But honestly, because they have their own issues over there and because Christianity is frowned upon over there, no matter what Tucker Carlson says, they're going to harm those people. Now, do I want that to happen? No, but see, this is where I come in and say, if we would strengthen our nation, if America would quit trying to play the police of the world, I believe if we would strengthen our nation and build up our own economies, I think the tariffs, I think the trade wars and some of those kind of things would actually do better because it would show a strength through peace move that Trump is trying to do. To say, okay, look, if we're going to do business with you, Saudi Arabia, or with Qatar, or with whatever country, you've got to do better for the Christians. You have to do better for the people that are less fortunate. You have to do better by the people where you won't persecute them, kind of like the Iran situation or whatever it may be. Going over there and listening to people like Tucker Carlson tell you how great it is to be a Christian in a Muslim country is a falsity. And I think that that's the kind of stuff that leads us astray and causes infighting in the conservative movement. I mean, he's going over there talking about how great it is, how easy it is for him to be safe in some of these Arab areas. See, what he's doing is he's trying to make light of, well, Muslims, they know how to take care of their people. These are all countries under Sharia law. Now, the reason I want to bring that up is because this story here, and we're going to end with this story. This is again from Chamath, a billionaire who was a major Democrat, Silicon Valley player forever. Billionaire Chamath from All In, once a mega donor for the Democrat Party, says he was totally brainwashed, like most Americans, by the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, CNN, CNBC, MSNBC, CBS. He said he believed all the lies about President Trump being terrible. He believed all the lies because all he heard was from the mainstream media telling you anything and everything they wanted you to hear. Over the course of 6 or 7 years, this is a quote, I realized that some of the most fundamental things that I was told about was completely and totally false. And he said, there are certain things that I started looking at, and all of a sudden I started realizing, wait, I've been lied to, and now it's time for me to do some digging. So now we see the left and the mainstream media. We see Tucker Carlson. We see our government telling us one thing, like Fed telling us that the gold and silver doesn't matter. We have Zohran Mamdani promising all this stuff, and also now realizing he can't fulfill it. Who can we trust? We were hoping for America to be a city on a hill. We could build our economy up, and yet we have a ship in Iran, or close to Iran, going dark. You know, again, I'm not an isolationist. I'm not one of those people that says that, America can't help other countries. But like I've told you, and I've used this cliche so many times, it's hard for me to help my neighbor or to help a family member if my house is burning down and it's in debt and we're losing everything we have too. I can't go over there and fix my neighbor's leaky pipe if I've got my pipe busted in my home, messing up the walls, messing up the plumbing, messing up the floor, and we have a major mess happening. If my house is on fire, my neighbor's house is on fire, it'd be kind of stupid for me to go to my neighbor's house and try to put it out when mine is on fire right here in front of me. See, there's nothing wrong with helping other parts of the nations and world. But America has got to get its stuff together. I've gotten to the point where I don't even know who to trust. I can't trust the R's, I can't trust the D's, because like for instance, Rand Paul's going after Marco Rubio. We have Thomas Massie going after Trump. We have Trump going after this, or we have Murkowski questioning DHS. We have, it's just back and forth. And then of course the Democrats, the same situation, but way worse. I just got to the point where sometimes it's just like, who can I trust? Who can we honestly trust? Nobody, really. What I've realized is no one is going to protect my family like I would protect my family. No one cares about my son's, type 1 diabetes more than I do, because he's my son. No one cares about my son, my other son, a house getting built and making sure he has a safe home and make sure he starts off with the right foot. No one cares about my daughters making sure they find the best husband for them one day or the best avenues for their life like I do. No one cares about my wife or my family or my home like I do. And so when I hear government telling me all the stuff they're going to do for me, and they're going to tell me they're going to tax me more to make sure they can get it all done. Or they're going to tell me the lies on one side, they're going to tell me the lies on the other side, and when I realize this, none of them are telling me the truth. What I've realized is this: I'm going to be let down by all these people. I am. I really am. Even the ones, I love Trump. I really do love some of the things he's doing. I love what RFK is doing with making America healthy again. But then he's still supporting traditional farms when it comes to, milk produce, and they're still feeding those cows grain and crappy junk, And the FDA and USDA are still approving some of the most dangerous things to go in our foods to this day. So, you know what? What I've come to realize is just what Chamath said. He said, once I started doing my own research and realizing for my own self what was truly happening, it made me open my eyes to realize that I was kind of on my own. I kind of realized that the Democrats were leading me astray. Republicans are not doing much better. So now we got to look out for who's actually going to do better for us. Government is not the answer, people. You are. Christ is. Spiritually, Christ is. Physically, mentally, emotionally, yeah, we have to pray through it. But God gives us a brain to use, and we may need to start waking up and realizing that our food system broke, that our medicine's broke, that we're broke, that taxation's broke, and that the government can't fix all the problems that we're having. We have gone through a terrible situation for the last 50 to 60 years to where we look to government to solve all the problems, and ultimately all it's done is lead us deeper into holes. But what you may want to start doing is starting to figure out what is going to be the best way for you to go forward for the rest of 2026 to say, I may need to start looking out for myself a little bit better. I may need to start putting my own retirement up. I may need to start doing my own investing. I may need to not rely on the government to fix all my problems. I may need to keep my data safe like we talked about, because the Department of Homeland Security now has flagged one of the biggest players that's supposed to keep our data safe is now released it on a public AI platform. That's not good. Guys, the whole point of today's video shows that none of these people actually can be trusted. It doesn't matter if they're evil. It doesn't matter if they're dumb or foolish. Either way, they're not actually leading us correctly. So then I come back to growing my own food, learning to be more sustainable, trying to get 1% better each and every day, because that will help me be more independent and not worry about this stuff so much. So when those waves come and those valleys come, I'm a little bit more prepared for them. Because you better get ready, because we're getting led astray by both sides. Tucker Carlson standing in Riyadh, or the mainstream media, or the guy you can't pronounce his name that's over our intelligence, or the military being in the Middle East and not here at home. Lots going on. Pay attention to it. Let me know what you think about these topics. I tend to just kind of ramble, but it's just, I get so upset that these things are happening. Instead of saying, you know what, let's cut our taxes, let's get on a steady budget, let's fix America, and let's make America truly great again. I want that to happen, but I'm scared our leadership in Washington may not see it the same way. Let me know your thoughts on today's video. God bless.